help if it put the right playlist on. Right. Back, demon! Can I do it with this one? Yay! Right. Okay. Excuse me. Gonna turn that off for now. Hello. It is I. I am returned to do more paint and things. Yeah, that's why I'm here. Fingers are gross. That's not what you want to hear. It's very hot today, and I've not long eaten, and my hands are a bit greasy. Way to make myself sound good. Do I have the right paintbrush to start with? Okay, so we're finishing this guy here today, as best as possible, which is to say, I need to wash and dry brush the sandy bits, snowy bits of the base quite heavily, and then add in some decals, I'm gonna call it. But I've already added the snow, in case you didn't notice. I'm now going to make it very dirty, because this is a running theme with my fantasy sort of stuff, that it's all grimy and gross. So it's gonna be heavily washed in Agrax Earth Shade. Then it's gonna get a very heavy white dry brush once it's dry, funnily enough, followed by an incredibly light metallic white paint, dry brushed strategically to give it a little bit of an icy gloss, glistening. Then I'm going to add in some snowy grass clumps that I got off of a website that I now can't remember, because I think they look cool. And then using, probably for this guy, because he's big, and I do it with a lot of my bigger models, using a cotton bud and some isopropyl alcohol or something. I'm going to strip the outside edge of the base down to black, because that's just what I do with a lot of my bigger models. I like the outer trim all dark, and I like it black. I don't know, it's just what I do. It's what I like doing with them. I've done it for a long time now, so I'm going to carry on doing it. Yeah, at this point, obviously, it makes it look super brown, but that will brighten up considerably with the dry brushes. Trying to pick and choose my way through the pile of shame at the minute. Because it's not shrinking very quickly. The building pile of shame has shrunk nicely. But In shrinking the building pile of shame, I have made the painting pile of shame exponentially larger. Just a bit of a pain in the bum. But I don't know if this is like... I don't know if this is the best looking or most efficient way to do something like this, but it's the way that I like, so I'm gonna just stick with it. So it's the method I've used for a lot of models now. I'll basically get a once over, and then I'll like give it a good old spinneroony and check over it all again to make sure there's no glaring white like deep bits, because so the goal here is to make it look dirty, and the dirtiest snow would be like in the cracks and crevices closest to what would then be like the ground underneath it. But I also want it to look as though it's like just soaked up generic grot and grime of just the world, really. So I want things to look gross. Well, not gross, but it's not going to be all sunshine and roses in the worlds that this is all set in. Really, I should be finishing my video upload project that I started ages ago, and because I have the spiciest of brains, have kind of shoved to the wayside at the minute, because right now at least the thought of carrying on with it is overwhelmingly daunting, because there's still a lot of work to do. To get it to a state where I can actually upload it. But trying to trim, I think it's like 10 or 11 hours of raw footage down, cutting out all the stuff that's not needed or wanted, and time wasty sections, and add a time, make it kind of time lapse, speed it all up, and all that. It's for people with a lot more experience, probably an absolute like cakewalk. But I am not the most experienced of editing ores. That looks too bright. I'm gonna have to tone that down a bit as well on there. Helmet looks too gold. But there have been bits and bobs on here. Actually, not on here. They were on the other streaming platform of working on this guy beforehand, so I would say you could go check those out, but they've probably been taken down by now because they're only up for 2 weeks at a time, and I am the most inconsistent when it comes to keeping a schedule, which is probably not going to help any sort of growth, but I don't care. I'm still having fun. Okay, right, so that now needs to dry, which is going to take a while. because this stuff takes ages to dry, like on these bases. So what I'm going to go back to, and hope it actually shows up okay on the camera, is this guy, who I very briefly spent like an hour yesterday messing around with to try and get an idea of what I was doing. Excuse me, I'm consuming a beverage. I don't know how well the camera's going to pick him up because he's a tall boy. He's a very tall boy. That might not be a... He might not be a feasibly streamable model for painting. Unless I go and put a shirt on. That sounds terrible. It's very hot, so I'm not wearing a shirt right now, but I don't want to give people a hideous, blinding view of my pasty, fat body. Bugger it, I'll get a vest. I'll put a vest on. One moment. Right. Okay. Let's see what the camera thinks if I now adjust this all. Excuse me. Somewhat, so you can kind of hopefully see what we're doing here. Because I'll be painting here, and that's going to be not around here, which is what that camera's going to see. You might not be a feasibly paintable fellow right now. So, slight change of plan. I take him off, and I haven't got a clue where I'm going to put it, because space is an issue. Instead, oh, he's like nearly done. I just need to do his base. Right, and I'm not going to paint that thing either, because apparently I've nearly finished it. Damn it! I am prepared for this endeavour. What about these? Do I have my scruffy brush? Because this guy's sat on here for a while and he's got a little bit dusty. Sorry, I'm just seeing where I am with another model that I might then in turn actually work on. So what I've got here are a couple of test models that I was messing around with for a paint scheme for some Space Marines. Specifically, my own kind of take on, excuse me, Carcharodons. But what I was trying to do was kind of use different golds and green washes to give them, well, a more like submerged look, like they've been like water underwater. And this is what I've kind of come up with so far. I'm not sure. The power swords are two different things that I tried to paint. and I'm not really sure if I like either, but these guys are kind of just a little bit testers before I move on to some other units. So what I'm going to do, providing these actually fit on the painting handle, which it does, I'm going to do that while the other guy dries, finish my drink, and then go back to the other guy afterwards. My only mild concern is I don't have a very good grey. To use as a highlight on the armour. So I'm not 100% sure what to do there. But one thing I can do, I know I can do, is the shoulder trims I want to keep just like pure black anyway. So, using an brush that is not too big but not too small and is hopefully just right, maybe you, I'm gonna run round all the black sections of this guy and just kind of give them a top coat so they stand out. A bit more. It's weird that I'm kind of saying I want the black to be like bright, but I don't want it to be bright. Bright isn't the right word. I just want it to contrast nicely off the grey. And because I'd quite heavily washed it all to tone the whole model down, it's kind of dirtied up the shoulder trims quite drastically. So I'm hoping just a fresh top up of black paint will help them to stand out. The cords that are holding his thing on his chest, I've got an idea for those as well already. So I've got some plans in place for what we're going to do with these fellow. It's just executing them. That's all I want to do, because it then looks a little bit cleaner, nothing else. The next thing I'm going to do on top of that, though, is if I acquire my little baby, my baby teeny tiny brush, you know, my finest, smallest brush, which is my most expensive brush, as would make sense. Gonna do his seals. not sure you can even really see these. I'm now going to attempt to write on his leg piece. This might not end well. Okay, I'm not 100% happy with that, but again, for a tester, I think it'll do. We'll see. Right, gonna do some edge highlighting on the various bits of gold now. But not with that brush. That brush. I'm going to use the newer one. So I'm using, this is the gold that I use on these guys for the details. Came in a kit of various metallics, funnily enough. You can see another scroll penitent seal, whatever you want to call them. I'm not going too close to the blade because I want that to still remain looking as green as possible. Not sure if it was too bloody hot to do this. My goodness, I am absolutely... Oh, I dropped my good brush. Melting. little bit more of this gold. So I can do this as well. Okie dokie. Excuse me, book of this guy. I need you to move out of the way. Oh, no, the red I need's over here anyway, never mind. The wax of the seal is to be nice and red. Egg salad. Did I do those? It's been a long time since I've looked at this guy. Yeah, I have. What should I do their eyes? Don't know what colour to do their eyes. I'm gonna go with one of the metallics again. I might go with the light metallic green. That could look pretty cool. And obviously this guy's helmet's on his side. But I still want to just put the paint on the eyes, I think. Even if the helmet's not on his head and like active or whatever. I'm not sure if that's a bit too bright. Actually. If I turn it down, I think it'll look okay. Right, I need this green, which is Sotek green. Just a splash. Just a little, not a lot. I need this brush. Oh, oh, oh. I need to give it a good old whipping. I need to get most of it off. There we go. I just don't know. I can leave the armour, but I don't know if... Well, I can't leave the armour, but I don't know if the greys that I have... if they're going to be too dull or too bright. You have so many greys to choose from. That one's going to be too bright. That's black. That's even brighter. And I don't know which one I use to start with. Ah. That's a good job I wrote all this down. They're kind of Carcharodons. But like, I took different inspirations from various paint schemes. They're kind of a homebrew. Various Primaris things that I've gathered. I'm just painting these in a minute because I'm waiting for the other thing I'm doing to dry. Sticky notes, because I can't remember which grey I used, and I wrote it all down. Ah. Well, blast, I didn't write it down for these. Really, I've written every other thing down. Except for the Marines, and I now can't remember which grey I used. Eesh. That's a small problem that I will overcome by avoiding it completely, hopefully going back to the other thing, who in this heat should be dry. It is. Right, excellent. Right, well, I'm going to forget about that completely for now, at least. That's not the white, that's the white. I'm going to go back to the big guy. Make sure my dry brush is all good. Yep. Probably could have gone away with the bigger one here. The only problem with dry brushing white is I'm trying to brush the excess off the brush. I can't see where if I've brushed off enough. Or in this case, too much. Keep an eye on my the stuff I used for the snow here, because it seems as though some of it's not adhered as well as it usually does. Don't know if that means it's gone a bit funny, but we'll see. It's definitely getting brighter, which is the thing I'm trying to do. Definitely should have used the bigger brush though for the bulk of this, but whatever. I've committed now, so I'm just going to stick with what I'm doing. I'm no genius at this by any stretch of the thought. I want a little bit brighter around the edge of that as well. Okay, can move around to the next bit, I think. And if any of this catches the very tips of his cape, I'm not going to complain too much because it'll kind of look as though it's been dragging through the snow to like what I'm kind of imagining the rest of his base as being almost like a feeding ground type situation. Kind of where he takes his prized meals to consume them, or something along those lines. I can't remember much of this guy's lore at all off the top of my head. That was a much thicker bit on the brush there than I thought. Whoops. Like I said, very much an amateur. What point is something would you consider yourself no longer an amateur at something? Because I have been doing it for like 28 years. I'm going to be very careful when I touch this because it hasn't got any top coat on it yet. Because of how warm it is today, I don't want to get my disgusting hands all over it and rub any of the paint off. Disgusting because it's hot today. Just to clarify. Because it's very warm. Like, we have the worst. Caught up on my headset. We have the worst infrastructure for hot weather. Why is YouTube asking me to sign into chat? It's my own thing. What? I shouldn't need to sign in. So we're going to have another pass with the dry brush in. Just to try and catch some more of the white. Then it'll be the secret weapon for snow. Maybe. Maybe in the sense of I don't actually know if it really works or not, but I've done it on every single one of these bases that I've done now, and It's kind of just become part and parcel of the process, which I should have saved the smaller dry brush for, really thinking about it actually. Would have been much easier to have the smaller. Oh wait, no, I have an even smaller one. No, it's all good. It's all good. Okay, I need to get some more over here. This area. It's definitely not white enough yet. Well, then I need to find the tufts. I don't know where my tufts are. They might be below me. Okay. This is the secret weapon. Once I've cleaned my brush. We also need to see if there's a way on YouTube to decrease the stream delay. I don't know how feasible that is. So I'm currently using my soap, brush soap, to clean my brush. And then I use beer mats that my parents purloined from a public house many, many years ago to dry the brushes off, because it's easier than using the copious amounts of kitchen roll that I'd normally go through. I want this brush. Okay, so this stuff that I'm going to use is an effect paint. It's metallic, basically. It's called fairy dust, in case you didn't see the thing, while I violently shake it. And what it is it's a pretty thick, consistency-wise, metallic white. And I will put some of it upon my brush, get rid of the mainstay of it off of said brush, and then I'm just going to go lightly around the most raised parts of the snow and the very edges of the rocks, and just very lightly flick a little on. It might look a little kind of sparkly to start with, but normally, every other time I've done it, once I get the top coat on, the varnish, it kind of, what's the right word, mutes it. But honestly, it probably will be barely perceptible here and now anyway. But trust me, it is going on. I can see it. And then, as I say, all I need is my tufts. Put some tufts on. Get my stripping pen so I can tidy the edge of the base up. And this guy will be, for all intents and purposes, done. Okay. That should be enough for that. Now I just need my tufts. I need my tufts and some tweezers. Give me just a moment while I find my tufts. Because I did not get this ready before I started. Are they in here? Nope. Are they in here? Nope. Damn it, where are they? Are they in here? Nope. Are they down here? No. Ah, I can see them.